Well, as far as Roger Corman, I don't know if you know Roger Corman, but Roger Corman has always been good to me through my career. I must have done 100, maybe 20 films for Roger, and Roger's hired me a lot of times. And I just had finished a pretty good film before that. Oh, we did Bloody Mama, with Shelley Winters. That's what it was. Yeah. And I just finished that, and he said, "We have a script, but I'm going to do a John Philip." Well, I says, "Oh, I know John. He's going to play the Red Baron. I want you to play Brown." I says, "What did Brown do?" And then I started reading about how Brown was a pretty interesting character, you know what I mean? And so we went over to Ireland to shoot that film with Roger Corman, who, like I say, is a dear friend of mine. To this day, he still is. Roger has a deal with the Irish government, I think, on taxes. Roger's that kind of guy. Roger make a good film for $100,000, and he'll make a pretty decent film. He's the only guy that can do it. Roger's shoots are not long, because that's how he makes his money. Maybe a month, but Roger will shoot a scene. Say you're shooting a scene, you're on your close-up. You go, "Okay, cut." You go, "Do it again." He said, "No, I have what I need." So he can be very bruising to your ego sometimes. Say, "Jesus, you're right in my close-up." You know, he knew already where he was going with that shot, so why waste his film? Because he even used second pieces of film and spliced them together and stuff, and got his film for free. And he's such a genius. So we were over in Ireland doing this film, and it was a great film or anything like that, I'm not saying, but I thought some of the aerial photography was excellent. If anyone says, "Well, you didn't shoot it in the air," ask the 4 people that died on that film. But one day I had taken off, and I'm chasing the Red Baron. John's in front of me, and we're really in the planes. The pilot's in the front, I'm in the back. Red Baron's in front of me like that, and I got my machine gun set up right here, and the camera's right over here on the wing, a little Aries camera's on the wing. But in the dailies, you could see the pilot's head kept getting in the shot. You see what I mean? There's a little clip of this thing, so it spoiled the whole shot. You see my close-up, and someone came in my close-up. So Roger said, take the stick and lean out of the plane and fly. There's this little windshield here, the protection. Lean out of the plane and fly. Firing the machine guns at John's in front of me. Wah! And all of a sudden, this duck came through and hit the pilot in the head. Wow! He hit this water. The pilot's out cold, and we're underwater, and the plane is sinking and sinking and sinking. Now I had a parachute on and a seatbelt on. The plane's sinking and sinking. I went, "Wait a minute." I realized I was alive, and then I realized next, all the surfing I've done, I was 4th in the world. And I've had tremendous wipeouts where I'm just at the end, go up like that, you know. And I wonder what I'm going, this is nothing. This is nothing. I've been here 100 times. I took my seatbelt off, took the pilot's seatbelt off, reached over, took his seatbelt off, grabbed him by his head like this, and pulled him up out of the plane. The plane was completely sunk, completely submerged underwater. And I pulled the pilot up like that, and I went, "Jesus Christ, I made it." It was like a terrible wipeout. I don't know if you went surfing, but wipeouts can be very severe. I've always surfed big waves, talking about 15, 20-foot waves. The wipeouts are, you got to really stay together, because you'll just freak out. And I was completely together, very calm and cool. And I'm holding this guy, and the sound was gone. The sound of the plane is very, very loud. And all of a sudden it was so quiet, you hear just like a bird chirping. And all of a sudden, everybody was gone. Because John and them had left. They were already flying. I couldn't see his plane anymore. And when I talked to him eventually, he went, "Yeah, where'd you guys go? You know, you must have cut out this way, went out this way, because we're trying to get this shot." We don't come back. Half an hour later, I'm in the water for half an hour, and this wool sheep clothes is getting heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. The fucking pilot's talking this cuckoo thing he's talking about. He's gonna die and all this shit. And the blood was all. I thought he was gonna bleed to death first. How he never bled to death, I'll never know. But so I'm there holding this guy up, and finally, I was thinking about kicking him away. That means when a lifeguard, his life is in danger. See, I'm saving you, and you freak out so much that you grab me around the neck, and all of a sudden, boy, I got more problems than you. So I was going to kick him away. I was going to kick the pilot away, and I just didn't do it. I just hung on to him. He was like on top of me, and I'm in water trying to keep up with all this clothes on, and he was just like over my shoulder like this. And I'm in the water, and here comes the helicopter. And we were there, and the helicopter came, and As he came down, the draft of the helicopter was pushing us underwater. It was pushing us underwater so heavy that I was waving him off, and the guy kept thinking, come lower. I don't know what he was going to do, throw me a rope. So finally, I decided to try and keep swimming towards the bank. I got towards the bank of the river, and it was so muddy, it was like being on glass. I got this pilot, I still got this pilot. I'm trying to dig at the thing and get up. Finally, the crew got there. One guy, I'll never forget him, and the funniest part about it all is we had to sign life insurance policies, John and I both did, before we went up in the planes, just in case anything happens. I said, nothing's going to happen to me. Give my money to the grip. So we're in the water. I see the crew come down. The guy I was going to give the money to, he was so freaked out that they tied a rope around him. He started swimming out. Oh, God, stupidest thing I've ever seen. He started swimming out. Then he started drowning. Then they had to pull him in with a rope underwater. He almost drowned. Finally, I did get up that bank enough just to rest my head on the bank. The crew came and pulled us out. They took the pilot immediately in the ambulance to the hospital. They said, let's go. I went right to the pub. And the shot is in the movie, except for they cut. And when I was in that crash, I was smoking hashish from Afghanistan. So that was something to do, man. So those days I was drinking a lot. And John didn't drink like me, but I had terrible problems with drugs. And John and I, our relationship was basically at work and stuff like that, because basically I drank so much. And he was a pretty clean guy those days, you know. I couldn't tell you any secrets or anything about John because I really don't know.